Welcome to Flexing Personalities to Build Highly Empowered Teams. I'm Shane Hobdy, author of The Flex Leader. In this series, we're going to talk about a leadership skill that often gets overlooked, but makes all the difference when it comes to engagement, communication, and trust. In this first section, we're going to look at why leadership breaks down, even on strong teams, and what's really happening beneath the surface. Let me start with something that might sound familiar. You have a capable team, smart people, good intentions, and yet things still break down. Deadlines get missed, meetings feel tense, feedback doesn't land the way you expect, and as a leader, you might find yourself thinking, why is this so hard when everyone here is talented? Here's the truth. Most teams don't struggle because people are lazy or incompetent. They struggle because people communicate differently, and leaders don't always know how to adjust. What looks like resistance is often just a different personality style trying to be heard. Think about someone on your team right now, someone who feels hard to motivate, hard to reach, hard to lead. Chances are the issue isn't effort, it's alignment. When leaders don't flex their communication, three things tend to happen. First, people disengage. They stop speaking up. They stop offering ideas. Second, conflict increases. Small misunderstandings turn into personal tension. And third, burnout shows up, not because people don't care, but because they feel unseen. And when people feel unseen long enough, they stop giving their best. This is why leadership today requires a new skill. Not stronger authority, not louder direction, but flexibility. That's what this series is about. Here's your takeaway from this section. When teams struggle, it's rarely about effort or ability. More often, it's about misaligned communication. In the last section, we talked about why teams break down even when people are capable and committed. In this section, we're going to clarify what flex leadership actually means and clear up some common misconceptions that hold leaders back. When people hear the word flex, they sometimes get nervous. They think it means walking on eggshells, lowering standards, or pretending to be someone they're not. That's not flex. Flex means adapting your delivery so others can receive your message. The goal stays the same. The expectations stay the same. The standards stay the same. What changes is how you communicate. Flexing is not faking. Faking is exhausting. Flexing is strategic. When you fake, you perform. When you flex, you lead. Flexing allows you to stay authentic while becoming fluent in people. Flex follows a simple leadership process. First, find your natural style. Second, learn about others. Third, empathize before you evaluate. And finally, expand your impact. This isn't about personality labels. It's about leadership awareness. Here's what I want you to remember. Flexing is not lowering standards. It's not pretending to be someone else. Flexing is choosing a delivery that helps others receive your message. Now that we've defined flex leadership, it's time to understand the styles we're leading. In this section, I'll introduce you to the 4 personality styles that show up on every team and how each one contributes to success. We all have access to 4 leadership styles. Under pressure, one usually shows up first. That doesn't make it better than the others. It just means it's familiar. The goal here is not to label people. The goal is to lead them well. Let's walk through the 4 styles. First, the feeler. Feelers lead with connection. They value trust, relationships, and emotional safety. Second, the thinker. Thinkers lead with logic. They value clarity, data, and well-structured plans. Third, the controller. Controllers lead with action. They value results, decisiveness, and momentum. And fourth, the entertainer. Entertainers lead with energy. They value creativity, engagement, and enthusiasm. Strong teams don't eliminate differences, they leverage them. Problems arise when we expect everyone to think, respond, and communicate the same way we do. No style is better than another. Each one brings a strength, and each one needs a different approach. In the last section, we explored the 4 personality styles. In this section, we're going to get practical and talk about how leaders can empower each style, using the same standards but different communication. Let's start with the feeler. Feelers don't need less accountability. They need connection before correction. If a feeler feels dismissed or unheard, they shut down. But when they feel valued, they will go above and beyond. Example dialogue. I really appreciate how much you care about this. Here's how we can move it forward together. Next, the thinker. Thinkers feel empowered by clarity. They don't want emotional ambiguity. They want accurate information and time to process. Example dialogue. Here's the data, the goal, and the steps. If you see a flaw, I want to know. Now the controller. Controllers thrive on momentum. Long explanations frustrate them. They don't want stories, they want direction. Example dialogue. Here's the outcome we need. Here's the deadline. Here's what success looks like. Finally, the entertainer. Entertainers bring energy to teams, but they disengage quickly when things feel rigid or dull. Example dialogue. Your ideas bring life to this team. Let's channel that energy toward this goal. When leaders flex like this, people don't just comply, they engage. In the last section, we explored the 4 personality styles. In this section, we're going to get practical and talk about how leaders can empower each style, using the same standards but different communication. Here's your takeaway. People don't disengage because expectations are high. They disengage when expectations feel disconnected. So far, we've talked about flex as a mindset and a leadership approach. In this section, we're going to apply it to real leadership moments, how you run meetings, give feedback, and handle conflict. Let's get practical. Most conflict at work isn't personal. It's stylistic. Speed clashes with precision. Logic clashes with emotion. Energy clashes with structure. The key flex skill is translation. The message stays the same. The delivery changes. Same message, different approach. We need to improve performance. Feeler. I care about how this affects everyone. Let's talk about how to move forward. Thinker. Here's what the data shows and what needs to change. Controller. Here's the target and the timeline. Entertainer. I've got an idea to make this better. Let's try it. One-size-fits-all feedback fails. Great leaders translate before they evaluate. Before reacting, ask yourself, is this a character issue or a style difference? Here's the key insight. The message doesn't need to change. The delivery does. Welcome to the final section of Flexing Personalities to Build Highly Empowered Teams. In this section, we'll bring everything together and focus on what flex leadership looks like in action and how you can apply it starting this week. Every leadership style brings a superpower. Feelers bring care, thinkers bring precision, controllers bring drive, entertainers bring energy. Leadership is knowing when to use which one. This week, don't try to flex with everyone. Choose one person. Change nothing about your values, only your delivery. Great leaders aren't fluent in tasks, they're fluent in people. That's flex leadership. Thanks for joining me. I'm Shane Hobdy, author of The Flex Leader.